Hey, as an English learner, you've probably struggled with phrasal verbs, right? You probably said yes, because I know phrasal verbs can be tricky. Well, that's why today I want to teach you the 5 most common English phrasal verbs. I'm going to show you their meaning and how to use them in real life situations. I'm teacher Tiffany. Let's jump right in. All right, so again, phrasal verbs can be tricky, but the first common phrasal verb is right here. Cut back. Cut back. Now, this just means to reduce. Now, for pronunciation practice after me, cut back. Excellent. Last time, cut back. Good job. Now, this phrasal verb just means to reduce, but let's look at some example sentences. The first one is, they are cutting back expenses. So once again, remember the phrasal verb means to reduce. So they are cutting back expenses actually means they are reducing their expenses. Makes sense, right? Now, the second example sentence is, my family cut back on the amount of electricity we used last year. Now, this is something, it's funny. I actually told a story earlier this morning to some friends of mine about how growing up, my parents used to say, hey, cut the lights off. When you leave a room, cut the lights off. We need to make sure we are using the energy properly in the house. They wanted to cut back on their electricity bill. So again, you see the phrasal verb in that situation. Now, the final example sentence for this phrasal verb is, I decided to cut back on a lot of things this year. Now, what I want to do right now is look at an actual situation, a situation that you can connect with. Now, I want you to think about the amount of junk food a person eats. Maybe you really like junk food, right? Now, I'm going to look at this. I'm going to show you a dialogue between 2 individuals, and you're going to see how the phrasal verb cut back can be used. So here we go. Here's the dialogue between Mike and Brian. Mike says, hey, Brian, we're going to get some French fries. You want to come? Brian, hey, Mike, thanks for asking, but I'm good. Oh, let me explain this to you. This is kind of a slang in English. I'm good just means I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm fine the way I am right now. So Brian is letting Mike know, hey, thank you for the invite, but I'm okay. I'm good. I don't need to go. I don't need French fries. So if you want to learn some American slang, you can actually use this one and sound more like a native English speaker. Oh, I'm good. It's okay. I'm good. So how does Mike respond to him? Mike then says, really? I'm surprised. You usually always jump at the chance to get French fries. Are you feeling okay? So now we see Mike is shocked because Brian usually always wants to eat French fries. Mike is surprised because Brian usually will always say yes when given the opportunity. That's what jump at the chance means. It means if someone gives you an opportunity, you immediately move. You immediately go for the chance or the opportunity. So in English, we say jump at the chance. So again, Mike is a little bit shocked because Brian usually jumps at the chance to eat some French fries. And then Brian says, I'm okay. I just started a new workout routine, so I am trying to be mindful of what I eat. Now, this is where Brian is letting Mike know, hey, I'm trying to be mindful of. I'm trying to watch. I'm trying to think carefully about what I eat. So, okay, Mike understands. You're trying to be mindful of what you eat. You're trying to be careful. Now, how can we use the phrasal verb in this situation? We can describe the situation like this. Brian is trying to cut back on junk food because he started a new exercise routine. Makes sense, right? He's trying to reduce the amount of junk food he eats because he's on a new exercise routine. He's following a routine. Makes sense, right? All right, so number 1, cut back. Now, what about the second most common English phrasal verb? We have this one, get around. Get around. Now, this means to be heard by a lot of people. So again, for pronunciation practice after me, get around. Good. Last time after me, get around. Excellent. Now again, get around just means to be heard by a lot of people. So here are the example sentences. News of his promotion got around very fast. Next, it didn't take long for news of his resignation to get around. And finally, the news of their engagement got around quickly. Again, very common situations where if you get a promotion, of course, people are excited for you and the news will spread. If you resign, sometimes people will start talking and the news will spread. Or if you get engaged, people will start talking and the news will get around. But what about this situation or another real life situation that will help you understand? So when a woman is pregnant, this dialogue is between Samantha and Mary. Samantha says, "Hey, Mary, how have you been?" Mary says, "Hey, Samantha, I've been great. I actually have been meaning to talk to you." Now, real quick, been meaning to do something means that you have it in the back of your mind. Something that you want to do, but you haven't done just yet. But you're like, ooh, I'm going to do that. I've been meaning to call you. I've been meaning to buy something that I want to do, but I haven't done just yet. So Mary says, "Hey, Samantha, I actually have been meaning to talk to you." Now, here's the response. Samantha says, "Oh, really? What's going on?" "Well," says Mary, "Mark and I found out that our little family is going to be expanding or growing." Samantha says, "Wait, what? You're pregnant? Congratulations." And then Mary says something interesting. "Shh, not too loud, girl. Thanks so much. I just don't want everyone to know just yet. You know how fast news travels." Now, I know your brain is already working because we just learned the second most common phrasal verb, get around. And it seems like she's saying the exact same thing. So let's see how we can use it in this situation. We can say, Mary doesn't want the news of her pregnancy to get around too fast, so she only told Samantha. Makes sense, right? Again, get around, this phrasal verb, the second most common phrasal verb, means to spread quickly. And she doesn't want the news of her pregnancy to get around too fast. Now, we're going to look at the third most common English phrasal verb, but I want to remind you of something. My goal is to help 1 billion students around the world speak English with confidence. And part of speaking English with confidence and fluently is, of course, learning phrasal verbs. But there are also many other things that you must learn in order to be fluent in English. So I want you to join me for a free event. That's right, the English Fluency Week. I want to help you speak English fluently. So this English Fluency Week, again, you can register totally for free by clicking the link right in the description. It will help you speak English fluently. I'm going to teach you some tips that will blow your mind and help you finally master English and speak English fluently. So again, join me for the English Fluency Week by clicking the link in the description. Totally free. And don't just learn phrasal verbs, learn even so much more. All right, so here we go. Let's go to the third most common English phrasal verb. Here we go. The third one is right here. Look into. Look into. Now, this means to try to discover facts about something. I'll give you a hint. I just told you about what? The English Fluency Week, a free event for you to speak English fluently. Well, you probably want to discover more information about it. You probably want to click the link. You want to look into the event even more. Makes sense, right? All right. So again, look into just means try to discover facts about something. Now, pronunciation after me. Look into. You got it. Good. Last time. Look into. Excellent. Now, look into. So let's look at some example sentences. Here we go. Now, this has 3 example sentences. After several customers complained about late deliveries, they decided to look into the matter. Next, can you look into this for me? And finally, the detective decided to look into the details of the case. Again, in each of the sentences, we're talking about getting more information, discovering more about the situation. So what about another real life situation? Let's look at a dialogue. Here we go. So let's say, for example, students are fighting like little kids. You have the teacher and then you have the student, Johnny. Here we go. Teacher says, Johnny, tell me what happened. Johnny says, well, Michael hit me while we were playing at the playground, so I hit him back. Wait a minute. Tell me why Michael hit you. Johnny continues, I don't know, teacher. He literally just hit me out of the blue. Oh, now real quick, out of the blue just means no plan, no reason. It didn't happen according to a schedule, just out of the blue, randomly. So Johnny is saying that Michael hit him randomly, out of the blue. Now look at the teacher's response. Okay, I can tell that there is more to this story, or there's more information that I need. I am going to go speak with Michael and some other students to get to the bottom of this. Now, to get to the bottom of this just means to get to the root, to get to the true story, what really happened. So we see that the teacher needs to discover more information. What does that sound like? What phrasal verb? Hey, you got it. So how can we describe the situation using the phrasal verb? Here we go. The teacher decided that she had to look into the details of the fight to find out what really happened. So again, we see natural situation. It happens. Little kids sometimes fight, and teachers have to figure out what really happened. We have to look into the situation. All right? Makes sense, yeah? All right, now the 4th most common English phrasal verb is right here. Here we go. Put off. Put off. Now this means to delay doing something, especially when you don't want to do it. Now this happens a lot. This is very similar again to procrastinate. You know the word procrastinate, right? Like, I don't want to do it. I need to do it, but I don't want to do it. So when you delay, say, I'll do it later, we say put off. That's the phrasal verb. So pronunciation after me, put off. Excellent. Front teeth, bottom lip for the F sound. Last time, put off. Good job. Now, how can we use this in some sentences? Here we go. First example sentence is right here. Are you putting off writing the essay because you can't concentrate right now? Next, they decided to put off their wedding or delay their wedding. And finally, don't put off the project. So you see, again, in each example, we're talking about delaying something or procrastinating a bit, right? So let's see a real situation, a real dialogue. Imagine putting off the payment of a bill. Here we go. All right, here we go. Here's the dialogue between a wife and a husband. The wife says, honey, we got something strange in the mail. Oh, really? Let me see what it is. Okay. It says something about our bill is late and now we have an extra fee to pay. Says the husband. That is weird. I thought for sure I paid all of the bills last week. The wife, remember you were out of town last week, honey. Husband, Oh, you're right. I was planning to pay the bills before I left, but I decided to do it when I got back because I thought I had time. Man, it must have slipped my mind when I got back. Now, slip my mind just means forgot something, right? It slipped my mind. I forgot something. So the husband is saying, I was planning on doing it when I got back. I decided to delay the payment of the bill until I returned home. You got it. You know what we're going to be using. So how can we describe the situation? Here we go. Using put off. Her husband put off paying the bills because he thought he would have time to pay them after his trip. Makes sense. To delay. We understand the situation. Put off is a perfect phrasal verb for this situation and many others. Now, what about the fifth most common English phrasal verb? Here we go. The phrasal verb is right here. Give in. Give in. Now, this means to surrender, especially in a fight or argument. Now, for pronunciation, real quick after me, give in. Good. Now, that V sound, front teeth, bottom lip, and a little bit of vibration. After me, last time, give in. Excellent. Now, again, it means to surrender like, okay, fine, whatever you want, I'm going to do it. I don't want to fight, whatever you want. I am giving in right now. So let's see some examples, and this is right here. Here we go. First, Ben's mother gave in and let him stay out late with his friends. Next, my parents would not give in, so I stayed home. And finally, the enemy finally gave in, so the war stopped. So again, we see these situations where, hey, whatever you want to do, I'm not going to fight anymore. These individuals gave in. But what about a real situation, a dialogue we can look at? Here we go. Let's look at this dialogue right here. In this situation, a child begging for ice cream. Now here's the child. Mommy, can I have some ice cream? The mom, no, because you didn't finish all of your chores. Please, mommy, I promised to finish all of my chores before I go to bed tonight. He's putting off his chores. You got that, right? He's delaying his chores. You got that? Now, how does the mom respond? Here we go. Why should I let you get ice cream before you finish your chores? Now, here's the child. Because I finished all of my homework and I promise to do my chores too. Pretty please. Now, this is something that we use in English. Kids use it more often. Pretty please. It's like emphasizing please, like please, please, pretty please. So we use that to emphasize please, but adults don't use it as much. Kids use it, okay? All right, so how does the mom respond? Okay, since you finished all of your homework, you can have some ice cream. So the mom went from saying no and then going back and forth with the child. Please, mommy. No. Please, mommy. I'll do this. Fine. Go ahead. You can have your ice cream. So the mom didn't want to fight about it anymore or argue. You know what we're doing. Exactly. Here's the sentence describing the situation. The mom finally gave in and allowed her child to have some ice cream. She finally said, go for it. Do it. You can have the ice cream. Makes sense, right? Excellent. Now, these 5 common English phrasal verbs will help you speak more fluently in English. But remember I said to improve your fluency even more, you need to join the free English Fluency Week by clicking the link in the description. Look into it. Guaranteed you will enjoy it, and I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much again for joining me today. I hope you guys continue to study English hard. Remember to always give your best and don't worry about making mistakes. You can do it. I'll see you next week, but remember to speak English. You still there? You know what time it is. It's story time. Hey, I said it's story time. All right. So today's story actually is very interesting. This happened when I was studying Korean. I was a Level 1 student. I was learning the basics, like the letters, the sounds, and basic verbs. So when I was studying and learning Korean, I remember my first class. It was great. Now, in my class, there were many different students, but I was the oldest out of all of them. At that time, I may have been 27 or 28. And my classmates were all like 17 and 18 years old. Now, the thing is, I was paying for my education. I was paying for the classes, and they weren't cheap. They were about $1,000 for 2 months. It was expensive, but I was working. I was a missionary English teacher, and I was taking a lot of my salary and using it to pay for my education. But there came a point in time where I started to wonder, because I knew the 17 and 18-year-olds weren't paying for their education. So I asked them one day, I said, I need to look into what they're doing that I don't know about. So I asked one of the students, she was a Japanese student. I remember her very well, very nice young lady. And I said, hey, I'm paying for my own education. How are you guys paying for this? Because it's not cheap. She said, oh, we're not paying for this. I said, what do you mean? She said, oh, we all have scholarships. And I said, what scholarship do you have? So she proceeded to give me more information about this Korean government scholarship that paid for everything. So I listened. I was very intrigued. I was very interested, and I said, wait a minute. All these students here are learning for free because of the scholarship. I need to find out more information about this scholarship. So I decided to look into the scholarship. So I left class that day and I went back to my apartment. I had to work, so I worked in the evening. And over the next few weeks, I did a lot of research. I looked into this amazing Korean scholarship program, found all of the details, and I realized, hey, I also could apply for the scholarship. But it was very, very difficult to get the scholarship. So anyways, I applied for the scholarship and I went through the entire process. But as I was going through the process, I was still studying in the program. I was still in level 1. Now, the thing that I remember happening, again, after I found out about the scholarship and I was going to look into, I wanted to learn Korean because I really was interested in Korean and I wanted to converse with other individuals in their mother tongue. So I looked up the scholarship, but I continued paying for my own education while I was waiting for the results or the feedback from my application. So I remember one day in class, again, level 1, and we were learning how to say, take a shower in Korean. And the teacher was telling us, okay, shower in Korean is shower hada. Okay, shower hada. I'll teach you a little Korean. Now, shower is shower, and then hada means to do in Korean. Now, in English, we don't say do a shower, we say take a shower. And in the class, myself and one other guy we were the only 2 native English speakers. Everyone else was from, other countries. They could speak a little English, but it wasn't their first language. So I remember the day in class when the teacher said, do a shower. And I said, what? She said, yeah, do a shower, shower hada. And it took so long for my friend and I to understand this concept of not taking a shower, but doing a shower. Now, of course, I can speak Korean now and we made it through the lesson, but it was at that moment that I realized, hey, if I want to be fluent in this language, I'm going to have to work really hard. I'm going to have to learn the way they say things. I'm going to have to learn their structures, their grammar, and not think in English and not think in my own language. The same is true for you. I learned that when I was in level 1 and it wasn't easy. But the same is true for you. Today, you learned 5 common English phrasal verbs. And sometimes I understand it's very tricky to use English phrasal verbs. But once you make that choice, once you make that decision, you know what? I'm not going to think about things in my own language. I'm going to think about them in the language I'm trying to learn, which is English. Things get easier. So I hope that you use all of these English phrasal verbs. Try to use one every day. Again, they're the common ones, so you can find examples and situations and you can master English and be fluent. So again, as you know, I speak English and I speak Korean. After I decided to do that, I was able to speak Korean fluently. Moving forward, learning, of course, through all the levels. So I hope this story inspires you that even in the beginning, if something seems difficult, As long as you put the effort in, you can definitely speak English fluently. And yes, I did end up getting the scholarship, which helped me focus on my studies. So guys, thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed this short story. I hope it was encouraging. Again, I do want to remind you all, don't forget to sign up, register for free for the English Fluency Week. Again, look into it. It's free. Learn even more and get fluent in English. Thanks so much, and I will see you guys next week.